All right. So we are live, Dr. Tuby. So you guys are in for a treat today. So it's kind of cool that we're doing this in the collaboration network group because I think we're living proof of how we all have something the other person needs. And at first you reached out to me, you joined my Audience Accelerator program, and then I'm seeing you. And then I'm needing what you have. And I joined your program, your event. And it's just been this really cool, just synergistic thing that we've been able to do together. And I feel like that's what I want everyone to understand is how important that is to just start to notice, right? And look at everyone as a way of helping and supporting each other in ways that maybe we didn't know were possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, we're going to be talking about Dr. Tuby's wildly successful community that she has built. She pretty much, really, it's only been a couple months, right? That you've launched this community and now you had your live event. You got to not only take the online community, but you got to bring it in person. And I'd love to just have you first share about you, who you are, what you do for people that don't know you. And then we'll kind of tap in. And the reason why I think this is so important for you guys to see is it's just a couple months when you make a decision, right? And then everything's able to then tie in together.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Stacey. Yeah. I think I joined your program in April or something. I don't even know, but I know I had my first live speaking event in April. And I think I joined your program right before that. And yeah, I had 20 people and now I have 133 and it's been really great. And so yeah, basically I'm Dr. Tuby Akinlosotu. Basically, I help entrepreneurs to streamline operations. I focus mostly on women, but I can help everybody. But I'm really drawn to women just because I know women wear multiple hats and they usually have to sacrifice something when they want to scale their businesses. So I really try to help women to streamline operations, set boundaries, set systems in place, and just to basically build a business that they can enjoy and love and love to show up to instead of just being overwhelmed and burnt out by it. So that's what I do. And now I've created a community around just thriving. So my community is called Meant to Thrive. And so there are business owners in there and there's some aspiring business owners in there, but they're all basically just there to come together and learn how to connect with other people that also want to thrive in their life and their business.
And that was such a cool thing too, when I was at your event and just sitting at that table and we're all just kind of talking about what we want to do, right? And just even when you're thinking of Meant to Thrive, when all the things that go under that umbrella where they're like, oh, what about meal plans? And what about habits? And what about goals? And it's like all of these things are now connected to this one shared goal that they all have. And I love just seeing that aliveness around that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been more than what I expected. And I think I owe that to you too, because I think sometimes we get so fixated on the business and we don't really think about the shared goal and the purpose. And so when I created Meant to Thrive, I just was like, okay, and it wasn't my business name, but I knew that was the theme. Never knew it was going to come up and just take its own, just go on its own. I didn't even know what I was doing. Basically, I just created that name and it's basically become that community for people to come together. I mean, we have our group now, they're sharing plans. We have this 4-week lifestyle challenge in there. People are journaling together. I mean, it's amazing, the community, the small community, and hopefully that will explode into the larger community. But it's amazing to just see that not only are we business women, but we're also going to help each other thrive in all other aspects of our life. And having that community and accountability together, it's been awesome.
And you mentioned the journal. It's so funny because I've talked about this to other challenges and other things before, but the journal has been my hardest thing to do, right? Where I don't know what it is, but I literally have a cabinet. I could probably show you guys. It would be hilarious of like 35 journals because you always buy the journal and then you put it in there.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because we're at the table and I'm like, well, if I'm going to do a journal, I need some help. I can't just do it on my own. And insert journal for whatever that thing is you guys are struggling with, right? For me, it happens to be the journal. And Dr. Tuby's happened. I was not planning this, but it happens to be right there. Dr. Tuby. Amazing. Yeah. But a journal is only as good as the person that's filling it out, right? And so only because the women are in that group sharing is now literally I am now doing. Seriously, it's so cool.
It's amazing.
So exciting. It's so exciting. And it's been so busy. So I haven't had time to engage on deeper levels, but just knowing that somebody's wanting it on another end and you're showing up to help someone else show up, to help someone else show up. That's where it comes from, right? And we all need it. We literally need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many things are so difficult to start, but then when you have people rallying around you to start, it's so much easier. And then, like, oh man, they posted theirs, I better post mine. So it's just this momentum that gets you off your butt and makes you do things. So it's really cool.
Yeah, even the first day, I saw them all doing it. And then I didn't even get a chance yet. And I think it was 11 o'clock at night. I still didn't do the whole thing, but I filled out, it was one part of it. I'm just seeing what it was. Oh, my evening reflection. So I didn't do the other stuff like the to-do list. It's amazing, you guys. It has to-do list, goals, all the stuff, water tracker. I'm not meaning to sell your journal, but I'm just telling you, it's an amazing journal. And it's so pretty. Yeah. And so I didn't get to do all of it, but I did do the evening reflection. And it was so cool because I just was like, what? I did part of it. And I said, I'm just proud of myself for doing it. And it's good to be able to do that in a space, right? Where people are like, yeah, good job. That's awesome. Right.
Yeah.
And having that, I don't want to say cheerleading, but just, yeah, maybe I mean cheerleading. That cheerleading for like when you reach whatever your goal is, it doesn't have to be the whole thing. Just do a piece.
Yeah, we all need cheerleading, man. Sometimes just like you're just sitting there and you're doing stuff and you know what I mean? It's not like everything you want to post on social media or say, hey, I just did this. And something could be so little, but it'd be something that you've been struggling to do for so long. And just to have a small community, just to say, good job, or just to say, you did it. It means so much. And it just encourages you to keep doing it.
Yeah. And Anne-Marie, hey, Anne-Marie, I just interviewed Elijah. I was just telling Dr. Tuby about it. I'll have to let her know about it. She said, we have similar purposes, how to thrive amidst life's challenges, disappointments, and more. I often say I'm looking for heaven on earth because God has more for us than just existing.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Today we had our group call and it was just like, share your wins, guys. And people were talking about how God saved them from health challenges and different things. I mean, the community is just becoming so deeper now. First starting from the Facebook group to meeting in person and now continuing with these weekly things. And so just going with Anne-Marie, what Anne-Marie just said about life having so much more purpose, right? As like now my groups are having so much more purpose, or these meetings are having so much more purpose than I intended. So it's amazing to see it all unfold.
Yeah. And I'd love to talk about that because I think that's what I'm really trying to help people see is it's not about the leads. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the followers, right? It's all about those 100 founding members that you get the year with in the beginning, because that's where the conversations really get seeped in. And I'd love to just stay there just for a minute because I know you're seeing it. And I'd love to just hear how you can just share what that feels like to just be a part of that. And then if you can see, like you mentioned, it'll eventually seed. It's going to like seed, take root, and then grow. But you have to start with this foundation first.
Yeah, I think it's so amazing. Like you set the path and example, I mean, with your first members. And now I feel like I have my little tribe and I'm building with them. Like today I told them that, hey guys, I know we couldn't cover everything in the boot camp, but I realized that next boot camp, I'm going to do this. And they were so forgiving and like, oh yeah, I think that's cool because I think I covered too much. And it feels so warm and secure to be in a small group of people that you've met, they're nurturing each other. And just to have that permission to be, it feels amazing. I didn't know it felt like this. I know what you mean. It feels amazing. Today's meeting was like, I looked forward to the meeting. It was different. It was just like, oh my God, these are my people. And it felt so good. I got off the meeting and I went to my husband. I was like, oh my God, I feel so full. I feel so amazing just being with these group of women, and everybody had their cameras on. It was just like, everybody was just engaged. We all know each other's names. We all know what each other's doing. We celebrated a birthday today, Ashley Marie. And it was just, I don't know. Now I understand what you mean. It's just more than the business. It's more than the lead. It's not a lead at this moment. It's just a community that you're building of people, real people. And if I can see them being my 100, I don't even know what I'm going to do without them right now. I feel like, oh my God, you guys are my people. And I could see myself developing them and just investing in them so that they can have their little tribes and just being part of that. It feels amazing, actually. It really does.
It's so funny because I remember the moment, like, I don't want to say your eyes shifted, but there was something where you weren't into the Facebook group in the beginning. And you told me this. I think it was one of the master, was something we were in with one of the groups. I was like, oh, tell me your objections about my offer or something. And you're like, oh, Facebook group, it's hard or something. And then that's when I said something about, well, the people become friends and Facebook group equals a community. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like the starting point. And then once I said the people become friends, then you were like, oh, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. And maybe what you're feeling is you're not having to do all the heavy lifting. You have this tribe of women that are, you're guiding them, but then they're lifting it with you. And it just feels so much more powerful because you're doing it together.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Next week, we're both going to be in Houston, and I was going to cancel the meeting because I'm not around. But then I was like, wait a minute, they can have the meeting without me. And they're already on this momentum. And I was just like, you guys just celebrate your wins and do this and that. And it just feels good to have a community of women that already know each other. And you just said, they're building each other up. I'm just their leader. I'm just like setting the path, but they're helping each other. One of them called me today and said, hey, let me help this other one. I have this, and they're all helping each other. And I'm just looking back like, wow. I mean, when I first saw their first group picture, they went to eat the second day of the thing. They all went to eat. I was like, my heart was so full. And I don't know, I'm excited.
Yeah, because it's like whenever I try to explain it to people, it's hard because until you feel it, then you get to see it, the level of just fulfillment that you get. And that's why I call this, I don't sell it that way, but it's a fulfillment offer. It's the ultimate fulfillment that you can get for yourself.
Yeah, you feel like some people say your offer's validated. It's not the offer anymore. It's like your purpose is validated. You know what I mean? Your impact is validated, and it carries so much more meaning to just be able to be in a group of people that they're all free and you're all on this journey together and you're helping each other go from one milestone to the next and encouraging each other. It's so amazing. Honestly, it's funny that you said when I first said that, because I did say that Facebook group. And I had one that was like dead, was there forever. And I just didn't have the energy. I was like, I don't know if I have energy to do stuff on Facebook. But now I'm eager to look at the group and see what's happening there. And they're doing their thing. And just now it doesn't seem like a chore. It just seems, like you said, a gathering place. Mm-hmm. Some people might be still sleeping and still watching and still need to be woken up. But those core people, and the more you just they keep bringing aliveness into it, then more people come in. I've seen some few people coming out of the woodworks, right? And so it's a great gathering place. Sometimes, when you're at a party and then there's the dancing party and there's the people that go in the middle of the dance floor and everybody kind of watches. Yeah. And then like one other person comes in the middle of the dance floor and another person. So right now I just have these core people in the middle of the dance floor, like, just getting their groove on. And all the other people are just kind of watching me like, okay, waiting for their song to come on. And then maybe when their song comes on, they'll get on the middle of the dance floor. So I think that's what's happening right now. They're just like, it's a dance party, right? And I have my core people in the middle of the dance floor while the other people are just kind of watching and cheering them on or just looking. And then it's going to be their turn to come in the middle. And then eventually that middle dance floor will start getting more people in there.
It's so true. It's so true. Wow. And it makes me think, I have this thing. Did I do it in comedy? I think I had this comedy thing when my boyfriend and I were in Cancun. We went to this nightclub and at one of those resort things. And I'm just like, everyone, we go to the dance floor, staying on the dance floor theme. So there's something really interesting here is no one's on the dance floor. Everyone's on the side. And so then I just started dancing, and I am not, everything that I do is like the same way. It's not a good dancer. And then guess what happens? Everyone starts going on the dance floor. And so that's the other thing is when they see people showing up and it's not perfect and they're just being themselves. Yeah. It makes more people want to come on the dance floor.
Absolutely. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I was just like, that's pretty much what we're doing. We're just a little dance. We're just dancing and people are watching and they'd be like, okay, well, let me come on the dance floor. So
how fun. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's see. We got Angela Anderson. She said, yes, must more than exist. Oh no, it's a schedule. Okay. We must more than exist. Just existing is dull. Totally. And Vicky's here. Hey, Vicky. She said, it brings me to tears often with how amazing it feels to have this community. And she loved the analogy with the dance floor. Thanks for sharing that. So I'd love to talk to you, and thank you so much for sharing this at the training that I did Saturday, because I feel like it's so important for people to know how important it is to be yourself and the power that is. And that's kind of part of this founding member concept is it's not just 100 people. It's 100 people that are like to your soul. They're speaking to you. And so maybe we can just talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, man. I mean, just hearing them say validation of the reason I was called to you is because you were your authentic self, or you didn't say authentic self, but just because of what you shared. And I mean, I related that to be my authentic self, and just being an ex-perfectionist myself, just knowing that just being myself and just speaking from the heart. And these people were drawn to me. And I basically drew those people that I'm also connected to my heart. And so it's an amazing feeling to just be you, right? And just know that these people are drawn to who you are, not this perfect offer or this perfect business plan or this perfect whatever. It's just who you are. And so I think that with that 100 founding members, it gives you that opportunity to do that. Because honestly, I don't think I could do that. It would be harder, probably could, but it'd be so much harder to do that with a bigger crowd. Right now you're building with this smaller crowd, and then it keeps going. And then it's like right now, I think I have 13 or 14 of them. Mm-hmm. And then when the other ones come in, and then I think as it grows, those original ones are like, I don't want to say grandparents. Those original ones will now help the new ones coming in and new ones. And then the momentum keeps flowing because it's like you've already set this movement with those founding people. And I think it just flows. And as they come in, and because when you say 100 founding members, I'm like, wow, that's a big movement then. Mm-hmm. It's going to be 100 with the same mission and vision and the same. That's amazing to have 100 people rallying for you, 100 people having your back, 100 people. It's just amazing to imagine these 12 people or 13 or whatever number it is. And then I'm going to have 10 times of that. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And then it takes this life, right? Because they're called to you, to your heart. And then because of that, they're aligned in that same way. And so then it's that power of just everyone in your sphere that's feeling those same things and they're aligned to the goal. There's just, I mean, it's the 1 + 1 = 11. Yeah. And I still don't know what, maybe we can figure out what that is, but 1 + your 100, 1 + your 100 founding members, that's infinite, really, right? Yeah. Think about it in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the fact that I do have more than 100 people in there, like I said, some of them are just still on the sidelines. Maybe some of them just need a little bit more to come out. But it's just cool to know that those people were the first ones there.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I mean, they were drawn to something in the community to come in the first place. So it's just a matter of just keep doing what you're doing. And before the whole thing comes alive.
And I know you got a lot of people. There was an event that you went to, and then you did a raffle for them to come into your group. Then there was a masterclass and all that stuff. But I'd love to kind of talk about that event, because this is something I try to help people with is, where are your people, right? So if you're going to one that speaks to your heart and what community do you serve, then it's easier for the 100 founding members to almost take hold, because you're not just getting them off of a blind ad or saying, oh, who wants to join my group?
Right.
Go to the source of where the people are. And maybe just kind of talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So I was a speaker at the Women's Expo here and where I live in Arizona. And then I had a booth and I had a little raffle thing, and I said, join our community. So I did get I think I was able to get 20 or 30 people, I don't remember, from that. And I think it was cool because it was a women's event. I wasn't sure if everybody was in business, but as they were coming by my booth, I was just interacting with them like, hey, you're a business owner, and just kind of telling them I have this community called Meant to Thrive. And it was kind of cool just to talk to them in person too. And then I had my QR code, they entered the raffle, and they joined the group that way. So I think that is cool if you can find places that your people are at physically and just invite them into your community right away. I mean, I'm even thinking that this can be done virtually too, not just physically, because there's virtual pop-ups, or I don't know what they call it, virtual communities or something like that, where they might give you a day where you could talk about what you do or something. And that right there, you could say, hey, join my community. My frame has changed ever since I met you. It's more about getting people to the community first, right? Because a lot of times we're just thinking about some link to some landing page, but you lose them on the landing page if they don't do anything, right? They just go there and they might sign up, they might not, they might just be turned off because they know it's a landing page. But when they come into a community that has a purpose and they see the other people in there, I think it's much easier to bring them into whatever else you have later than just sending them straight to a landing page. Because I had the choice of, what QR code am I going to put up there? Do I put the landing page masterclass or do I put the Facebook? And I was like, let me bring him into the Facebook group, because then in the Facebook group, then I could talk about other stuff. So I think that whole concept has really, really opened up a mind shift for me about bringing them into your community and your gathering place first.
Yeah, it's so great because they're not getting stuck, like you said, right? They're coming into this alive place where now you have people that can support and say, let me bring you by the hand and show you what to do. And then it feels more supportive. Yeah. And it's great because, and I have you'll see it later. I'll post it in the Audience Accelerator group because I'm creating all the things now from seeing you guys go through it. It's an image and it's showing indirect kind of promotion and then direct promotion. So there's the direct promotion where you're doing that, where you're like, yeah, come join my group. And then the indirect promotion is just where you're giving value and you're contributing into communities, especially ones where you're not allowed to promote. You're just giving advice. And then from there, they either follow you or they become your friend or whatever it is. And then they see you posting and then they join your group. And I just feel like that to me has been, once I unlock that, I'm like, man, because I just need to make it easy for people to get the 100. Because once they get the 100, then that's where my job comes in. I'm going to help the incubating, getting to know them, and all that, because that's where they're able to really get the connection. So yeah, I'm glad. It was so great when I saw you do it from the speaking perspective, because that's just like, what an easy way to bring people in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this was fun. So you were there, and I mean, your event was amazing, and you had the whole sign and all of the stuff, and you had people around you. So people got to see what was happening. And you had two people actually through those 3-4 days that came up, and even your son was facilitating one of the conversations. But they're like, wait, what do you do? How do I get in? Can I pay now? It was like, can we talk about for a minute? Because I thought
it was so amazing, because I was telling my students that were there that, hey, you always gotta be ready with your eye helps and just have something for them, because I just walked out and someone's like, hey, I saw your banner, what do you do? And somebody came up to me about speaking because they saw my banner, and then I came over there and they said, oh, I said, yeah, I'm speaking at a financial, I'm a keynote speaker this Saturday at a financial thing. And they go, oh, we do financial stuff. And I start telling them, I don't do financial, I'm just speaking as the keynote. And so he was like, oh, could you do that for our stuff? So then we got their contact. And then another group of ladies were coming from Las Vegas. And then my son was there. They're like, your son is so cute. He just sold your thing. He's like, want to meet my mom? And they're looking at my banner and they're like, oh. And so then I got connected with them. So that was cool, just to have connections and my link tree, because I have my QR code there. So that's the thing I would say, is always be prepared. And on my link tree, the number one thing is, I think one or two thing is my Facebook community. So if they go to my link tree, it's right there. So yeah, always be ready, and just, you never know who you're going to meet, and invite them into your community.
And the thing that I really saw from that is it's a lot easier when people see people around someone learning from them, because it gives you that immediately authority and credibility, right? Yeah. And so I look at the Facebook community as the same way. For people, maybe you're not ready to do speaking or do in-person events or whatever, your Facebook group or whatever community you're using online, it serves the same purpose, because you have people around you. And then immediately people start to look at the dance floor. Yeah. And then until they want to start dancing.
Yeah. It's changed so much, because I was telling my ladies today that, hey guys, we're launching on July 20th, this ultimate business launch, but you don't have to have a product or program. You're just going to launch your movement, your community. And it was so much easier to grasp, because it was like, you're going to bring people in your community first. And then it was like, oh, so you bring them in, and then that's the same thing you're saying. Having people around you, I was like, that would seem so much easier if I would have known this a long time ago, of just have people around you first. Yeah. And so I've learned that from you. And I'm like, hey guys, all we have to do is build a community. When you build a community, bring them in, and then you can launch your stuff later. And so I think some of them were stuck at launching and stuck at business. And what am I going to offer? Now it's just all about, all we got to do is just launch ourselves and launch our movements, and that's it. Yeah. And then those of you that have something more, you can talk about it. But it's so much easier to grasp, just knowing that all you have to do is gather people around a common purpose. It's so much easier. Some people are like, you got to have 10,000 things in your business plan. You got to have this. Just gather people around your common purpose. I'm like, that is so easy to understand.
Yeah. And it's funny because that you get to listen too. So I launched the program on Saturday and I've had several people have joined, which has been amazing. But as they're joining, they're like, is this going to work for me? I'm not even sure if I'm ready for this. And then the couple people that have messaged saying they want to join, but they're just not confident enough to join. Right. So I'm listening, right? I'm hearing what they're saying. And I haven't announced this yet. So you'll be the first to know, but I've decided I'm going to check with them, make sure they're okay. If they're not, I'll do a one-on-ones or something but I've decided I'm going to postpone the actual program start date because I want to do Find Your Voice again first, because I feel like if people can actually go through finding your voice and actually understanding who they are, what they want, and then they're diving into this, it's going to be a lot easier and it's going to help with the confidence more. And that's an example, right? Is we think we know what people need and we want, but they're going to tell you. And this is the same exact thing that happened when I was doing the podcast workshop or the podcast challenge. People needed to find your voice first, and not everyone. Some people came and they started their podcast, but there was a huge amount that needed it first. And so it's like sometimes you get to see if people need a bridge or not. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited. It's like when you have a community and you have no like and trust with people, it's like everyone is, I don't want to say accepting, it's not the right word, but they get it. They know that what you're doing is in their best interest, right? And so anyway, I just thought I would share. It's kind of interesting hearing you say that because it's like what I'm going through right now where I'm like, I know they need this first before we launch this whole thing.
Yeah. But it's so interesting because once I said it to them, it's like, all I got to do is bring people in. And then I honestly see them as soon as people come in and other people are starting to introduce themselves and doing videos. And then you're like, wait a minute, this is my group. I think it wakes you up too. Even if you're scared, the fact that you created this group and other people are speaking up, it kind of gives you that confidence that, well, maybe I should say something in my own group. Right. So I think it's all part of the getting over that fear. Even if you just created the movement and created the group and just you still were scared about finding your voice or what are you going to say? Just having other people gathered around you and starting to introduce themselves or whatever you ask them to do as they come in. I think that also encourages that person that's kind of hiding and waiting to speak up because it's almost like an accountability, like, oh, well, you created something. Other people are speaking up, then you should speak up, right? So I think the find your voice is going to be awesome. And I'm also curious to see how if someone just created something and people, it's almost like when you make a suggestion about something and then some people start running with it. And then you're like, oh, wait, didn't I suggest that? I better do it too. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, 100%. I know. That's why I'm doing the journal. I'm like, oh, I was the one saying I needed it. And then,
I see that as the same concept. I kind of see that as the same concept in the group. I think you might be so scared, but you might just make the group and then you're like, oh, people are posting. People are, I mean, it might just make you come out of your shell and be like, shoot, I'm the one that created the group. I might as well say something. You know what I mean?
It's like the ultimate procrastination beater, accountability device. I mean, it's how I'm going to finish this book so fast. I know it's because when I have people around it, it's done. So it's so cool to have that. We don't realize how much we know until someone's like, oh, wow, that helped me. And so I think there's also that it's just knowing that you're able to be of service and of contribution to people too. So yeah. Oh, and then you let me give them dares. That was fun. You want to talk about that a little bit and what that looked like? Because I thought that was a huge kind of moment for both of us to say, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was like, okay, just seeing them in different parts outside doing the dares. And Lena comes up to me and goes, Tuby, my employees have been asking me, because she has a design business. She's like, they're always like, post something, go online, say something. And she swears she will never go on and like to show her face. She could not believe she did the dare. She does a video and posts it in my group. And she's just like, I don't know how you got me to do this, but it was so cool. Stacey gets people to do dares. Like you got them to do the dare. You got them to post it in the group. And I could see many of them after that feeling relieved and feeling like, oh, I guess I could do this. Because like today when I said, oh guys, guess what? You guys are going to do this. And one of the days you're going to have to go post a janky video. And I could see that they were calmer. I think that dare really helped. I think if it wasn't for that dare, they'd be like, but they already did a dare on the spot. So I think now they're like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, and it was that idea of them all doing it at the same time. So just so you guys know, pretty much, I got to I don't remember what the dare was, but I think I just said share your reflections on the day. And if for those of you that joined Dr. Tuby's group, you could see them. They're all in there. I even did one. Yeah. And basically, I'm like, you guys have 5 minutes. Just go out. And I just didn't think about the 110-degree weather outside because it's Arizona. But other than that, but yeah, so go out we have 5 minutes, and then that's what it was, right? Everyone saw each other doing it. And so it just really helped, I think, kind of bring that energy. So it's not really me saying it, it's just me facilitating them all doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally back to what you're saying. It's that people surrounding you. Like if someone was just standing there by themselves doing the dare, I would have been as profound. Everybody around spreading out to do it. And that's the same thing you're saying. When you create this community and you create this group, one person can do their dare first in the group, and then it's like, oh, but everybody's watching. And so it's kind of like having that community around you. Now you're like, okay, well, I can do it too. And so I think that's what happened in person. They were all spread around and they just fed off of each other's energy that they could also do it.
That's what it is. Yeah, feeding. Okay, we got a few more things. So Vicky said nurturing is so much easier and better in the Facebook group. And then Anne-Marie said, can you talk about how you developed a masterclass and how does it fit in with everything you do? Oh, by the way, Anne-Marie is a teacher and she has a podcast. You guys have to connect.
I want to connect with her.
Yeah, you guys have to connect. Yeah.
It's so funny because I just telling my group that I'm launching this new thing for teachers because I was like, a lot of teachers are on the summer right now. And they're like, I ran into my son's teacher and she's working at Walmart. And this other one was at the restaurant. And I felt so bad. And I was like, I used to be a teacher for 11 years. And I just was like, what? I want to launch something for teachers, right? Just using what I still do, but just for teachers. So I'd love to connect with her and I'll talk about that another day, but that was another thing that came up.
Well, yeah, she can come on. You can go on her podcast and you guys do a podcast swap too. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then what about the master? I mean, there's a whole masterclass system, but what do you have to answer the question too with the question? I know I got excited. She just said, how did you develop a masterclass and how does it fit in with everything that you do?
So, I mean, we both have the same mentor. We went to Houston. We learned the whole masterclass system. And then I did a few iterations and didn't really do anything with those. But then my third one, which one was it? The scale without sacrifice. Basically, I think the masterclass thing is just developing it on something you feel called to do. That was what I felt like. I felt like I just created something around my mission and what I felt called to do. And then I did the 5-hour masterclass. And then that's how I got these people that came to the boot camp, right? Mm-hmm. With this masterclass, and you just create the content and everything. And I don't know if that question, if I'm answering it or not, because I don't really know what part of it they want to know, but.
Yeah, I think it gives a context for sure. And so the idea is also what I'm excited about is because I think when you started it all, you kind of already had your masterclass set and then the people came in and then you even said you riffed the masterclass. So it wasn't even what you had planned. You were able to riff, I don't know if it's the right word. You were able to kind of be open, right, to what they needed.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about having people around the thing, especially the founding members concept, is because you're getting to see what they want and that helps you create whatever it is. So I didn't get to show my party trick. I'll have to do it sometime. When everyone joined mine, I even copied all of their things that they wanted, what they said, why they were joining, what they wanted to learn. And then I threw it in an AI thing just to create this PowerPoint. I didn't use it, but I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Mm-hmm. You can actually create something just from what people are saying they want to learn. And if you don't know something, then bring in an expert to teach that part of it.
Yeah. I mean, that actually brings you to a good point of some people hesitating to get these 100 founding members. I think that's what helps you bring these people in, ask them what they want. And some people are doing the opposite way. They're developing all this stuff and courses and programs. And then you bring the people in and they don't even want that. So it's better to just bring them in, get to know them, and there's no pressure. And as you're getting to know them, you're finding out what they want. And then you can use that to create your master classes, I love how you always go, what do you guys want to learn next? And you give us a poll. So I think you show a great example of that. You don't have to figure out the whole content. You just ask people what they want, and then you give them what they want. And I think that's so amazing.
That's what I always crack up whenever anyone's like, oh, you have the best content. I'm like, you guys are the ones who gave me the questions. Like, I didn't even have the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing because it's just the matter of knowing how to create the space, right? That's the important part. And it's cool that you're doing that. I love that.
And it's a great place because I remember when I was writing my dissertation, I had to pay SurveyMonkey, right? to be able to survey people. Now you can survey your own people in your own group. You got people in your group, just ask them, what do you want? And whatever question you want to ask. And that's goal, to be able to have access to a group of people that you could survey. I don't even think in that context, people are understanding how awesome that is. At any given time, you can go to your own group and just ask them questions and just be like, well, what do you guys think about the name of this book? Or what do you guys want to learn next? Or what do you guys think about this program? How long do you think it should be? It's so amazing. They basically have your own little, what they call study, market research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In there. It's so amazing to just know that you don't have to scratch your head. Just go in your group and ask them.
Yeah. And then you get to also tap into what you want too, right? So it's this heart connection that you're able to have, which is just so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. So, okay, Anne-Marie said, trust the process. So Vicky was saying how it gives people FOMO when they're seeing what's happening on the dance floor. And then, Anne-Marie said, from mission to content, but you have to be called. That's good.
Nice.
And Shauna is a teacher assistant. Hey, Shauna, good to see you. Well, we're all about the teachers today.
Hey, I must call to my energy.
I know. You want to share something since we're in that something for the teachers? Is there, when you have that craving or the calling and you're still kind of on the fence, is there something you'd want to share or inspire them to do?
Yeah, I think that this whole thing is like a teacher's heart, because from a little kid, I've always used to gather my brothers and sisters around and teach them. And I've always been called to educate and to teach. And when I left the classroom 2014, I felt like I was leaving a big part of my purpose. I just was always called to teach. But now I'm able to teach and educate in a different way. And I feel like teachers are so awesome in this arena. That's why last week I was like, man, I need to reach back out to teachers. Because I was sitting at the dinner and Lena sits and says to me, oh, I have another teacher that's a speaker. Teachers are amazing at this. And I remember I'm like, oh my gosh, because we're always in the classroom and we're always basically teaching and speaking to our little group. And we have 30 students this hour and 30 students the next hour. And then every year we have students after students. And that's part of the reason I was able to remember names all the time. I'm always having students. You have to remember their names. You have to remember what they like. Some of them are in IEPs. You have to differentiate instruction. So teachers are amazing. They are amazing community gathering people, because that's what they do, is they have a community of students all the time. And then they know how to nurture them for the whole year. And so my heart was just like, man, I need to connect with more teachers because they're perfect at this whole thing. And anyway, I don't know if I'm sharing the right stuff, but I just know that teachers have a heart to serve already. And that they're doing that. Unfortunate pays doesn't go to what they're doing, but they already have that heart to serve. They're already sacrificing for a community. And so I feel like teachers, if they decided to do anything like this, they would flow right in.
Yeah, you're making me see too, because one of the things it's so funny, because when I had my staffing company, it was big, right? It was like everything was big and it was a lot. And I was like, oh, I'll never do something like that again in my mind, which sounds weird now that I say it. What I realized though, with what I'm doing now, it's so much bigger, because it was just like, everything was just all my skill sets. And I just saw what Anne-Marie said. She said, we have dynamic skill sets. So all my skill sets were stuck in that one business. And even though it was big in terms of the amount of people and what I was doing and everything, it was just, everything was stuck, right? And so then when I exited and then opened it up now it's like you've blown it open, right? And it's the same thing with the teacher. It's like you've got this classroom, you've got this school, and it's just stuck in that one place. But when you can do something like this, right, it just like, whoa, it just will expand and explode from that. And then all those skill sets that you have, like life assets from one of the dares we give, then now it goes to the whole world. It's not just this one school anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing feeling. And I love how you brought up the asset thing, because that was how I was able to connect. Like you said, the staffing company used to have, that's how I was able to connect why I remember things and my teaching and all the things I've done. When you make us go through that asset thing, really opens you up to understanding why you connect so much to certain things, because it's all part of the journey. And now you're able to use it in a different way.
Well, it's so good doing this with you. I just love being in this world. I learned a lot from you. I'm at the event was unbelievable from so many levels. And you guys know, I'm constantly investing in myself. I'm even doing a VIP day with her on Saturday, because I'm like, I need more help. And just I have a lot of things. I need a VIP month, you said.
Yes, I look forward to that. And thank you so much. And if anyone's still on the fence about the audience incubator, I know you said you're probably postponing the date, but I'll tell you that really unlocked my business. So much more opportunities. It was after I joined your program. So I don't know if I'm just saying it truly from the heart that I really think that I tell everybody, join Stacey's program because it's what's going to set you free from that thinking too much and getting stuck on landing pages, getting stuck on overwhelm, and just join and understand this audience building thing. And I just call it thing because you have the secret sauce about it. When you understand this audience building thing, it makes everything different. So I just encourage you to just get into the program if you can, because I see everything so much different now. It's all about finding your people, building your community, building your audience, and rallying them around that purpose. And then everything is going to flourish from that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think if you were going to say something to someone that maybe is on the fence and they're like, oh, is this for me? What would you say to them that would help them?
Look, I'm someone that's really picky and I research everything. And I was at Stacey's first masterclass and I keep telling her this. She's the first masterclass I took to the bathroom, not the toilet, to the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth and I just couldn't put the laptop down because she was sharing so much stuff. And she came out just like, no landing page, nothing. She did the thing. I was just like, oh, I saw the amount of people on there. I just knew that Stacey had the answer to the system that she was sharing was the answer to what I was looking for. I had already done 3 masterclasses that were not making sense. And at that time, I thought I was just joining to just have you help me with my Facebook group so I can have more people in masterclass. I didn't know this was going to be a whole new thing. I didn't know it was going to be about community and audience and finding my people. And I remember I kept posting and you kept saying, you're not calling out your person. You're not calling out your person. And I'm like, what is she talking about? And I had to really think about it. And I was like, you just have this unique gift to be able to let people connect to their real person. And you brought that alive in me. And you brought that alive in my group. And so anyone that's on the fence, I don't even know how to say it, but just get off the fence and join her group, because I've spent thousands of dollars in other programs and yours is the only one, to be honest. I feel bad saying this. You're the one that makes the most sense. Your program made the most sense. It put the most momentum behind what I was trying to do. It moved me faster. It made me understand. It brought so much clarity into what I was doing and why I was doing it. It was the missing piece that I didn't know. So many of us are just doing so much stuff. Stacey's program is the missing piece. Just get in there. I don't know what else to tell you. Just get in there. She pours her heart and soul into it. And she has so much stuff, like the dares that make you come out of like the first time I did the dare, which I still need to do more dares. Please forgive me. I got so busy. I don't think I only did a couple of dares, but the dares are amazing. Going live in your group is amazing. And just understanding like your wheel and where you find your people. You never think about this stuff. Stacey has you going back to thinking, oh, what about that meeting I went to that last time? Oh, that's where my people are. You just open up this whole, I don't even know the word for it. It's just amazing. Anyone on the fence, just get off the fence. If you need me to talk to you more about it, just contact me. But it's the most amazing investment I've ever made, to be honest. I'm honestly saying it.
Yeah, it's so good to hear you say that. It's so funny because I always have a sexy thing, right? It's like the dating or the get fit or the start a podcast. That's the thing everyone audience accelerator, right? It's the thing everyone joins for. But the hidden thing that people don't realize that you get is the fulfillment, the tapping into your life purpose. What were we called here to do? That's the thing that really gets alive through this. It's just not the thing people come in on because you need something bigger for you to see that you need that. But anyway, I'm glad that you shared this because I feel like it helps show just all these other intangible things that people get from doing something like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's more than what you say is on that paper. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So share your group so people can join your community. And I am super excited to just stay in this space with you. For sure.
Where do I wear it at? Hold on.
Oh, just say your link. Say your link.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. It's the Meant to Thrive community. Find me on Facebook. It's the Meant to Thrive community for high achieving women.
Yeah. And
I think you type in meant2thrivecommunity.com and it'll take you there.
See, I'm looking it up.
Isn't that Thrive 2?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
Yay.
Amazing. Okay. Any parting words of wisdom for people even in joining your group or anything else you'd like to share before we end?
Nope. I have a ultimate business launch coming up on July 20th that I'm launching. My first 10 of my founding members, I'm launching them all together. So please come out and support them. It's going to be streamed. It's going to be on Zoom. They're like, oh, some of them are nervous, some of them are not. But this is the first time they're going to do their own little launching of their little community. So Join us if you can, July 20th, and I'll send out information about that. But yeah, that's it.
Well, thanks you guys for joining us, and do the thing. Don't wait for opportunity. Create it.